Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. The Warriors want to be much better than in the last 2 seasons, and that's why they made good negotiations and the squad is more balanced and has depth. But improving even further is one of the objectives, and negotiations for other players could happen during the season. Warriors making a successful trade and conquers Robert Williams. The Golden State Warriors are retooled and seem to have improved on offense following a very busy offseason. Melton, Buddy Hield, and Kyle Anderson all seem to fit in flawlessly, and after missing the postseason last year, Golden State is ready to go on a playoff run. However, outside of their two-way contracts, the Warriors do not have a single player taller than 6'9". Their perimeter defense is expected to be pesky and solid, but they are lacking a proven interior rebounding presence. The Warriors could rectify that in a trade with their conference rivals, the Portland Trail Blazers. After drafting Donovan Clingan 7th overall, Portland very clearly has a big man of the future. On top of that, former first overall pick DeAndre Ayton has 2 years left on his deal, and Dupreath showed promise in his rookie season. After missing all but 6 games to injury last season, Robert Williams is the odd man out in Portland's frontcourt and is expendable. Time Lord has 2 years left on his contract, and Portland should be eager to add financial flexibility and draft capital as they rebuild. If the season goes on and it becomes clear that Golden State needs a defensive presence, they could make a trade with the Blazers. Warriors receive Robert Williams. Trail Blazers receive Melton 2026 first-round pick, top 10 protected. In his last healthy season, Williams averaged 10 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks. He is not a floor spacer, but in a lineup with Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, and Jonathan Kuminga or Draymond Green, his inability to space the floor will not be an issue. Williams is only 6'9", but has shown prowess as a shot blocker and has received Defensive Player of the Year votes in the past. As the West gets bigger and Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic, Chet Holmgren, Zion Williamson, and Anthony Davis dominate, the Warriors desperately need an interior presence and could make a deal for one. Melton can't be traded until December 15th, so the Warriors will have plenty of time to address their needs before this offer is put on the table. Latest Warriors news could lead to major offseason regrets. Golden State's reluctance to trade Jonathan Kuminga could prove fatal. The Golden State Warriors were unable to reach terms on a contract extension with Jonathan Kuminga prior to the October 21st deadline. That means Kuminga will finish out the final season of his rookie contract before entering restricted free agency in the summer of 2025. Kuminga wanted a full $224 million max contract, per Anthony Slater of The Athletic, which would have fallen in line with draft peers Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, and Tyrese Maxey. To be blunt, that was never happening. Kuminga hasn't earned that sort of money yet, and the Warriors are understandably taking the patient approach. Because of restricted free agency, Golden State can wait until the very last second. Even if Kuminga signs an offer sheet with a different team next season, the Dubs will have the power to match it. That said, it's hard not to feel a bit uncomfortable with the gap between Kuminga's demands and what Golden State is comfort with. It has been a rocky road since Kuminga became the number 7 overall pick in 2021. There was a time last season when Kuminga appeared on the outs with Steve Kerr and the Warriors organization, but he eventually latched onto a starting role and flourished. The 2023-24 campaign was our first real taste of Kuminga's immense ceiling. He still has a ways to go, but sheer physicality, athleticism, and shot-making powered the 22-year-old to 16.1 points in 26.3 minutes per game. If Kuminga takes another leap as an entrenched, full-time starter, Golden State may have to reconsider its stance on a max extension. That said, the door is officially open for Kuminga and Golden State to drift apart. That also opens the door for intense regret stemming from this past summer. Warriors could regret not trading Jonathan Kuminga for Paul George, Lauri Markkanen. Golden State's front office did an excellent job this summer, but it's hard to ignore the looming specter of what could have been. The Warriors were reportedly in the mix for Paul George before his decision to sign in Philadelphia, but the Los Angeles Clippers asked for Kuminga in return. Golden State resisted because Kuminga is so important to their own future, writes ESPN's Ramona Shelburne. That's a tough one. Kuminga is important to the Warriors' future on paper, but he's not important enough for a max contract, which he feels he deserves. What if Kuminga lands a full max offer from another team next summer? Is Golden State comfortable matching it when rubber meets the road, or would Kuminga be allowed to walk for nothing? That would transform this whole situation into an outright disaster. There is understandable trepidation tied to Paul George's age and injury history, but he is worth a max contract, and his presence would have dramatically changed how we talk about Golden State in a loaded Western Conference. Stephen Curry doesn't have too many years left in the tank. He has earned the right to go out swinging, and that's how the Dubs front office needs to operate. We can point to the Lauri Markkanen sweepstakes as another missed opportunity, too. It seems as though Brandon Podziemski was the real object of affection for Utah's front office, but the Warriors also kept Kuminga out of those trade talks. That is two bona fide all-stars who were within reach for Golden State, if not for its reluctance to deal Kuminga. This could all work out for the better, but the Warriors clearly aren't as confident in Kuminga as he is in himself. That disconnect signals that hey, maybe Golden State should have been more willing to trade the raw clay for a finished sculpture. Kuminga compared to two NBA stars. After taking a leap forward in his third season, Kuminga fully believes he can enter all-star territory and has been compared to two high-level wingers. He believes strongly in his game, NBA insider Shams Charania said on ESPN. He feels like he has a chance to be a star-caliber player. You look at Pascal Siakam, as well as guys like Kawhi Leonard, players he could have the trajectory for. The Warriors want to see how that plays out, and they're keeping an eye on that fit between him and Steve Kerr this coming season. If he plays well, they want to pay him.